Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class for the first intermediate grade. Our textbook is Super Goal 2 and today we will cover what are you going to wear there grammar. This lesson will be presented by me, teacher Mazra Harbi, and the sign language by Mr. Saleh Al-Ajan. So let's begin. Our objectives in today's lesson, we hope that at the end of this lesson you will be able to form sentences and use going to in future and also use time expressions and apply them for the future. Before we begin, let's make a quick revision on our last lesson. Last lesson, we have identified different type or different kind of clothes, and we have classified those clothes between clothes for men and clothes for women. And some of the examples we have mentioned for the clothes for men, we said like boots, shirt, pants, tie, thobe, shemagh, jacket, shorts, and suit. And also the other kind of clothes that we have identified that is only special for women, which is coat, blouse, dress, abaya, skirt, and shoes. And also we have identified how can we talk about what kind of clothes that we like and what kind of clothes that we don't like. And we said that we usually express our opinion about the clothes we like, and also we use with it the color of the dress that we would like or of the clothes that we would like to wear. And we said that we have put an example on how can we express the clothes that we like. We said if you want to mention the color, you need to mention that color before the clothes. For example, you can say, I like the black jacket, or I like the blue dress. And here we have identified a new type or different kinds of colors, like for example, blue, light blue, green, and dark green, red, pink, purple, orange, yellow, brown, beige, black, gray, and white. And we have said that those colors, you can look around you and choose any piece of clothes you have and try to use them with I like or I don't like, and mention the color with the type of clothes. And as for our lesson today, I would like you please to open your books on page 42. To open your books on page 42. On page 42, you can see this chart. In this chart, we're going to talk about how can we use the future verb to be with going to. You see that maybe in the previous units we have talked about, and previous semesters we have talked about the using of the past form, the things that happen in the past, and also the form of the things that happen in the present at the moment. And today we're going to learn something different. Today we're going to learn how can we talk about the things that we are planning to do in the future. So not in the past and not at the present time, but in the future. And today we're going to learn how can we form sentences to talk about the things that will happen in the future. So the first phrase we're going to use to talk about the things that would happen in the future is going to. And how can we form especially the affirmative sentence when we talk about something will happen in the future? So as you can see here we're going to use the subject pronoun I, you, he, she, we, they, and comes with it the verb to be. The verb to be, which is am, are, is. And after this comes going to, and we always use going to if we want to talk about the things that will happen in the future. So we're going to use going to, comes after it a regular verb like wear or play or do or study. So it comes a base verb. We don't have to add anything to the verb that comes after going to. And then we'll continue the sentence. For example, I am going to wear jeans. I am going to wear jeans. It means that I'm not talking about now, but in the future, maybe after an hour, I'm going to wear jeans. So this is what do you mean by going to. It means that you want to do something not now, but later. Maybe next hour or tomorrow, maybe next week. It's something that you want to do in the future. And as with every grammar we use all the time contractions. So What do you mean by am here? It is I am. And your, it is you are. And his or she's, it means he is and she is. And we're, it means we are. And there, it means they are. So we always use contractions. We always use contractions when we are forming sentences that needs to write or we need to write the subject pronoun with the verb to be. And also this is an affirmative sentence here where I'm going to talk, or here where I talked about something that I want to do in the future, and here with the negative form. How can I talk about the things that I don't want to do in the future? So as you can see here, we always start, as I said, with subject pronouns and also verb to be, and comes after it not. For example, I am not going to wear jeans. You're or you aren't going to wear jeans. Or he isn't going to wear jeans. So this is when we talk about the negative form. So this is the affirmative form and this is the negative form. And also, and how can we make questions with the future going to? Simply, instead of starting by, as in the sentence, instead of starting by the verb to be, we start with the, instead of starting with the subject pronoun, we start with the verb to be. So we would say, are you going to wear jeans? Is he or she going to wear jeans? Are we or they going to wear jeans? So as you can see here, we always start, especially when making questions, we always start with the verb to be, am, is, and are. And the short answer will be either we say yes, I am, or yes, he is, or yes, we are, or no, I'm not, or no, he or she isn't, or no, we are not. So this is simply how can we form a sentence, and also how can we form question when we want to talk about something that we want to do in the future. Also, the other part we have for today, which is time expressions. So you see, not only going to, using going to indicates what we're going to do in the future, but also we have something that indicates that there is something to do in the future, which is what we call the time expressions. Like what? What do you mean by time expressions? We mean by time expressions these words: tomorrow, next week, next month. For example, what are you going to wear to school tomorrow? What are you going to wear to school tomorrow? So here we have going to wear. This is indicate the future, and also the time expression tomorrow. So here we have two words that indicate that there is something to do in the future. So the answer will be, I am going to wear my uniform. And as we said, that using the subject pronoun with the verb to be, and also with going to, that is for the future, this is how can we form sentence in the future. Also, the other question, is she going to go shopping for clothes next week? So here we use the going to for the future, and here, and this is the time expression next week. So we have time expressions, like we said, we have tomorrow, we have next week. So all of these, we call them the time expressions. And why do we need, or why do we use time expressions? It's because to be detailed about when exactly that thing will happen in the future. So this is how can we form sentences when we want to use it, or we want to use going to for the future. We start with the subject pronoun. I, he, she, it, you, they, we. We start with subject pronoun. And then comes after the subject pronoun the verb to be, am, is, or are. And then we use going to. And what comes, and this is going to for the future, and what comes after going to is a regular verb. What comes after going to is a regular verb. So this is how can we use, this is how can we form the sentence in the future. And we'll see example. Now I'm going to talk about myself, the things that I want to do in the future. So let's read it together, and after this you tell me about the things that you want to do in the future. For example, I am going to play football. I am going to play football next weekend. So here I used going to, and also I used time expressions, time expression. And I follow the same steps we have here. I started with subject pronouns, which is I am. So I started with subject pronouns and a verb to be. And then I use going to here, right here. And then I also used a verb, which is play. So this is how can we form sentences in the future. So for me, I am going to play football next weekend. Not only this, but I am going to study English tomorrow. I am going to study English tomorrow. So here I used another time expression. And also I am going to travel to Mecca next month. So here, as you can see from these examples, I have written 3 examples about the things that I want to do in the future. And you should do the same. You should follow the same form I have written here. So you start with subject pronouns like I did here with I am, and then use going to like I did here, and then use a regular verb like I did here. And don't forget, if you want, to use the time expressions like next weekend, tomorrow, next month. So you can, or next week, you can mention the time expressions when you are talking about the things you want to do in the future. So now let's move on to the first exercise we have for today. Here we have almost 6 sentences, and what we need to do, we need to unscramble these sentences. And how can we unscramble them? By starting, as we have said here, by starting by this form. So we must start with a subject pronoun and a verb to be and going to and a verb. And this is exactly what we are going to do here. We're going to start with subject pronoun, a verb to be, going to, and a verb. So let's start with number 1. Number 1, the words here we have is she, going, a new dress, is to buy. She, going, a new dress, is to buy. So, and how should we start this sentence? What is the first word that we should use here in this sentence? Very good. We always start with the subject pronoun in this case, she, and the verb to be in this case will be is, and then going to, and a regular verb, and then we complete the sentence. So the answer will be, she is going to buy a new dress. She is going to buy a new dress. So here you have the first answer. Number 2, jeans are to the park. They to where going. So here we have this sentence. What is the first thing we should start to use here? What is the first word? Excellent. The first word here we should use is they. What comes after they is the verb to be are, and then going to, and then a verb, going to where. So the answer will be, they are going to wear jeans to the park. And number 3, a new pair of sneakers to shop for, going, and I'm. So what is the first thing we start here? Very good. The first thing we start with is am. And what comes after am is going to, and then a verb, shop, and then we'll continue the sentence. So the sentence will be, I am going to shop for a new pair of sneakers. Next we have number 4, to wear sandals, is to the beach, he going. So again, what is the first word we start with here? Very good. The first word we start with is he. This is the subject pronoun. And a verb to be is, and going to where. So the answer will be, he is going to wear sandals to the beach. And number 5, are for dad. We going a tie to buy. So the first thing we start with here is, very good, it is we. And what comes after we, which is the verb to be, are, and then going to, and then a verb. So the answer will be, we are going to buy a tie for dad. And the last sentence we have here is, to need, going, for work, are, a suit, and you. So we start always with a subject pronoun, which is in this case you. You are going to need. You are going to need a suit for work. So the answer is simple. You always follow the form. You always follow the form we have explained. You start with a subject pronoun, a verb to be, going to, and a regular verb. And now let us move on to the next exercise. The next exercise we have, I would like you to work in group and ask and answer question. So you can simply ask them about, what do you usually wear, and then you mention the place. And here we have listed a couple of examples or couple of places for you that you can use to answer. So here we have an example. What do you usually wear on a plane? I usually wear a t-shirt and jeans. I usually wear a t-shirt and jeans. So this is an example. You can have the same form or the same question, but you can change the place. You can say, for example, what do you usually wear at home? I usually wear pajamas. I usually wear pajamas. So this is the first answer when you, this is the first answer when we're answering about home. Number 2, what do you usually wear to school? You can say, I usually wear thobe. I usually wear a thobe. And you can ask him the following question. What do you usually wear when you go to a football game? You can say, I usually wear t-shirts and shorts. I usually wear t-shirt and shorts. And number 4, what do you usually wear when you going to the beach? You can say, I usually wear loose shirt and shorts. I usually wear loose shirt and shorts. And what do you usually wear in cold weather? Jacket. I usually wear jacket and boots. And finally, what do you usually wear in hot weather? You can say, I usually wear light clothes. So this is only an example on you can change the place. You can use the same form or the same question, but you can change the place. Either you are choosing from either of these places, or you can have or write down a new place. And here are sample answers that you can use, and you can ask others to answer that question. The next exercise we have here, I would like you to have a look at the pictures here we have on page 43. And what I would like you to do is to work with partner again and ask and answer question. So I want you to have a look at the places you have in front of you. I would like you to have a look at them, at these pictures, and answer me the following questions. First, where are they? Where are Where are these pictures? Where are they taken from? So for example, here we have Jeddah, here we have in Moscow, here we have in Mexico, Tahiti, the Aidens. So here are different places from different parts of the world. Okay, the other one, is the weather there hot or cold now? What do you think? From the look at these pictures, what do you think? What kind of weather do we have at each places? Maybe we can say that by looking at these pictures that we have different weather. Maybe in Jeddah the weather is hot, and maybe here in Moscow the weather is cold. So we can say that there is a different weather. And here, do people there wear formal or casual clothes? We have, the last lesson we have talked about the difference between formal clothes and casual clothes. We said that formal clothes is the kind of clothes you wear when you go for work or occasion. And casual clothes is the kind of clothes you go when you go to wear when you go to beach or maybe go shopping and so on. And what can you do there? What are the activities you can do at these places? Maybe in the beach you can swim. At Jeddah you can enjoy the walk in the Corniche area. Maybe here you can enjoy in Mexico, you can visit museums, enjoy the scenery. So there are a lot of activities that we can do at these places. So what I need from you now is have a look at these pictures and try to form a conversation. Try to form a conversation that is similar to this. So in the first one here, this is an example. You'll see under each picture a name of a person and then the name of the place. So here we have Hussein in Jeddah. And we can form a question. You can ask a family member or a classmate or a friend of yours to have a look at these pictures and form a simple conversation. And you can use the answers we have already answers or when we discuss about these pictures. So let's see an example here on this conversation. The first one says, where is Hussein going to go on a vacation? Where is Hussein going to go on a vacation? The answer is, he is going to go to Jeddah. And what is he going to take? He is going to take like clothes. So here, how can you form a simple question? And also you can talk about what kind of weather to take or to bring or to wear at these places. Let's see a few examples now. So here the first picture we have is Tom and Sam from Moscow. And we can have a simple conversation like this. Moscow is often cold. What should I bring? Imagine that now you're making conversation with the person you choose. And he would say, you need to bring warm clothes. You need to bring warm clothes as you're going to Moscow, which is in cold weather. And number two, here number two is Bob, and he is from Mexico. So where is Bob going this summer? He is going to Mexico. And what should he wear there? He should wear casual clothes. So here, this is only a sample. This is an example of the conversation you can make about Bob from Mexico. And the other person suggested that he should wear casual clothes. Why? Because usually in Mexico, it is a hot weather. And number three, person, his name is Mil, and the place is Tahiti. So, where is Mel going to go on vacation? He is going to Tahiti. And what is he going to take? He is going to take shorts and t-shirts. So this is only an example on a simple conversation about Mel, who is going to Tahiti. And since he's going to go to swim and going to the beach, we would say that he should take shorts and t-shirts. Next, we have George and Joe from the Ants. And we can have simple conversation like this. Where are George and Joe going to go on vacation? They are going to the Ants. And what should they bring? They should bring coat and boots. And this is also an example on, you can make a similar one to this, about since the Ants or the Ants mountain is cold, then they should bring coat and boots. And now, we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.